welcome to TWF Collision or Hit. I, Tony Schiavone, Jim Ross, and Paulie Dangerously here. And today on Collision or Hit, we have a good show here today. We don't know what we're going to be doing, but hopefully it's going to be a good show, Tony Schiavone says. Well, Jim Ross says, soon Jim Ross says you're going to be going to handling Raw for the 2nd time, on top of doing Dynamite or Might, or Rampage or Ramfu or Collision or Hit. Yeah, you got that right, Jim Ross. Well, Paulie Dangerously says, great for you, Den. If you're going to go on to do all that, you might be one of the most overworked play-by-play callers ever, Paulie Dangerously says. Yeah, I guess so. If we can know what's going on or not. Well, I can tell you one thing, Paulie Dangerously says. I think I know what we're going to be doing here today. We see Drew McIntyre coming in the ring now, so I guess that's what's going to be happening here today. Tony Schiavone says, that's right, Jim Ross said, we got Drew McIntyre here, and he's not a happy fellow, Jim Ross says. I don't know when he ever was or was not a happy fellow, Tony Schiavone says. He's not, Paulie Dangerously says. Tony Jim, he's not. Unless he's a TWF heavyweight and world heavyweight fighter, he's not a happy fellow. Alright. You would think by now that I would have gotten, some onlook. You would have thought by now that everyone would have onlooked me, Drew McIntyre, or Drew Galloway, or whatever you want to call me. You would think that the time I put in ICW, and WWE, and ICW, and EPW, and TNAW, and then WWE again, you would think that that would give me some onlook around here. Yeah, former ICW heavyweight fighter, former TNAW heavyweight fighter, former EPW heavyweight fighter, former WNXT heavyweight fighter, former WWE heavyweight fighter. You think that would have meant something. But no, I still gotta get fucked over by folks like CM Punk and Godjora, who had nothing good to do but to start shit with me. You see, CM Punk wants to get himself over again by fucking with me. Godjora wants to get himself over again by fucking with me. But I'm going to tell you right now that I'm going to get even with you. And I don't know where you're at, CM Punk. But one of these days, I'm going to get you. But one of these days, and one of these days, I'm going to get you. But who knows where you're at? Yeah, your doll went missing somewhere, and that's probably a good thing. Because if I do get it, you're going to wish you never got bought from any of the thrift shops you got bought from. Yeah, the first two may have came from Walmart, but all the other ones came from the Vinlander Thrift Mill, or whatever. And now I'm not done with it, because I got to shift on, from dealing with this shithead CM Punk. He's got himself lost some more, and that's great for me. Hey, you want to know what's so great, Godjora says? Is that you're still bitching and ranting about how things are unfair. About how you didn't win the WWE heavyweight winnings for the 3rd time back in 2022 YL. You also bitched about how you didn't win the Interland body winning for the 2nd time, or the 4-1 Reich winnings for the 1st time. Always talking about how you got fucked over, played with more than any other wrestler, fighter, or overstar, either in WWE or the TWF. you know? And somehow, some way, you say that you're shifting on. How can you be shifting on when you were still talking about CM Punk, which he's somewhere, you know, in this bedroom, and one of those book stands over there. He's somewhere in one of those bins, and there's one of them downstairs. But you know, you just don't want to be done. See, you got 2 wins over me, and I was thankful. Alright? I put you over, you got those 2 wins against me. Well, hell no, that was not good enough. You know? So, you know what I think? And you might, at the end of the day, you might not like this, but I think you need to learn that the world does not go around, you know, Drew McIntyre or Drew Galloway or whatever you want to call yourself. It never has, it never will. And you saying that you're done with CM Punk and that you're going on, well, if that's true, which I, you know, first off, I hardly doubt that it is true, because you just started out talking about him. And yes, he's gone somewhere. Where? We don't know. You know, that is the curse of being in a toy wrestling gathering. Someone likes to go missing. But I got no bind beating you up. And when we do seek CM Punk, you're not going to like it either. Oh, is that right? God, you already beat you 2 times. You want me to fight you again? Yeah. Let's do that. Ding, well, we got a match going. And God Jora just knocked down Drew McIntyre with his big limworm deadweight tail, Tony Schiavone says. Yeah, God Jora has a lot of films. He's got 2 films out right now. A Hojo film that Netflix, as we speak still, I guess still, his tail's caught in the rope. You know, the Netflix right now has the right to stream. You know, he's got a Warner Brothers film that's out too, where that doll came from, Tony Schiavone says. God Jora's a toe again. I'll tell you what, Jim Ross says, God Jora has been in the toy wrestling gathering since between 98 YL. Jim Ross says, and God Jora is kind of like Steve Austin, one of my good friends. Well, let me guess why, Paulie dangerously says. Because he likes to drink beer, likes to give folks the middle finger, likes to think that he's so cool for, standing up to leadership, playing the angry man all those years. Let's be earnest about it, Jim Ross. He was playing Stunning Steve Austin and no one cared. He was playing the utmost overstar and no one cared. He did the ring leader and that didn't go good. So he became Steve Austin, but he was already doing that shit before that. But at the end of the day, God Jora is probably, you like him because he's just like Steve Austin. Well, I really thought, Tony Schiavone said, you had shifted good, and that you had shifted good, and now God Jora right now wants to get the stunner, but Drew McIntyre, being wise about it, gets out of the ring. Tony Schiavone said, God Jora's making a mistake going after him, Jim Ross says. Latest Claymore kicked out God Jora, who, due to his weight and his tail, he's going to fall down. Unless it's Drew McIntyre's goal to win this match by a throw out. Now the Fight Lord's going to start reckoning out Gajora now, Tony Schiavone says. 1, 2, and oh, Drew McIntyre just hit him. And he got in the ring again. Drew McIntyre just Claymore kicked down Gajora again. So this is how he's going to beat the King of the Fiends, Jim Ross says. Well, you can't doom the man or seek wrong with him or scathe him for getting the upper hand, because Gajora would have done the same thing. Future shot DDT. And now Gajora is awkward in the ring because he is a dead weight, or, you know, a Lindworm, whatever he is, Paulie dangerously says. And Drew McIntyre is hoping to beat Gajora here today on Dynamite or Mike Tony by Claymore, whatever a Claymore is. And now Gajora got Gajora got Drew McIntyre in the stunner, Tony Schiavone says. Yes, Jim Ross says. Gajora hit Drew McIntyre with the stunner like Steve Austin would do, Jim Ross says. Oh yeah, and Steve Austin wasn't the first man to do it. Mikey Riffraff was doing it in ECW. Disco Inferno was doing it in WCW. So no, Steve Austin was not the first man to hit someone with a neck breaker and called a stunner. Kevin Owens is doing it now, Paulie dangerously says. 1, 2, and only a kick out. Gajora may have thought that, oh, Claymore kick. Drew McIntyre is going to beat Gajora, and we could have a ride over who did the neck breaker first, who called the neck breaker, who called the stunner, whatever. Tony Schiavone said, we don't worry about Drew McIntyre beating Gajora here today. Tony Schiavone says, 1, 2, 3. Ding, ding, ding. Here is your winner, Drew McIntyre. Well, Drew McIntyre has beat Gajora, or Godzilla, we'll call him Gajora, Godzilla's what the same, here today on Rampage or on Collision or Hit. And you wonder if he was only stead holding himself, you wonder where CM Punk is at, and if he will get even on Drew McIntyre, Tony Schiavone says. Well, you can only hope, Jim Ross says, to know where the first stead holy fellow is at, and if he will get even with Drew McIntyre or not. I don't know, Tony and Jim, where he's at. There's one buried somewhere in the book stand, another one somewhere in that bin, another one somewhere downstairs in the underroom. So who knows where he's gotten himself off to. I mean, I've been his friend for years and I don't know where he's at. Well, taken away now, we're going to have Renee Young. Thank you, Michael Cole and Jim Ross. I'm going to be talking with Gajora here today. I'm going to be talking with Drew McIntyre here today on Collision or Hit. First off, Drew McIntyre, one would think that you would be a happy man now, since you now have beat Gajora, King of the Fiends again. Well, I'm not a happy man, Renee Young. Not until I become the bloody TWF heavyweight fighter for the 30th time. Not until I become the bloody 3-time WWE heavyweight fighter. Then I'll be a happy man. See, even I gotta deal with CM Punk, who's gone missing, so yeah, he's hiding from me. And I'm still dealing with the King of the Fiends or the Kaiser of the Fiends, Gajora, that deadweight Lindworm, whatever the bloody hell he is. And I beat him over and over again. So that must make me the baddest man on the block. I've always been the bloodiest, baddest man on the block. Alright? And sooner or later, I will be the TWF heavyweight and world heavyweight fighter. Well, to tell you one thing, Drew McIntyre, or Drew Galloway, whatever you want to call yourself, beating God Jorah, the King of the Fiends, the Kaiser, the Thing's a big deal. Yeah, it was as much as a big deal when I beat CM Punk, and no one knows where that doll went. And I don't think we have the time to be looking for losers like him. So I got a goal, and I hope by the end of the year you will see me as a three-time TWF heavyweight fighter and one-time world heavyweight fighter. Because in the TWF, they've been bonded together instead of being two unlike winnings that they are in WWE. Well, Drew McIntyre's still a irked, angered, wretched man. Back to you, Tony Schiavone and Jim Ross. Thank you, Renee Young, for talking with Drew McIntyre here today on Collision or Hit. And that's all the time we've got here for Collision or Hit. I, Tony Schiavone, Jim Ross, and Paulie Dangerously, we hope you like Collision or Hit, and we'll see you tomorrow for Monday Night Raw, or Alone Day Night Raw.